नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यव्याधि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees to our weekly Bhagavatam study. So last week we just started the new section of 7th canto, chapter 11 onwards, wherein Narada Muni is going to talk about the duties and designations of 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas, and also other things associated with them. So because Yudhishthir Maharaj, having heard about Prahlad Maharaj as an example of Ananya Bhakta, pure devotee, now he is going to ask, okay, Prahlad Maharaj had already established an ideal of a pure devotee, but everyone may not be of that capacity. For people in general, because he is a king, he is always worried about how people in general can be progressing in the spiritual life, in their spiritual journey. So, keeping that in mind, he is asking, please speak about Sanatana Dharma, the mixed Bhakti Yoga. Sanatana Dharma means Bhakti Yoga mixed with little bit karma, little bit jnana, little bit yoga, and other things here and there. Because very rarely, very few people practice pure unalloyed devotional service. Everyone cannot practice. So now he's asking that it's okay. People with their own limitation, with their own conditioning, if they give the primary importance to bhakti, but a little bit here and there, chillaga. So please speak about that people, how they attain perfection. And majority of people are generally the followers of Varnashrama. So please speak about Varnashrama Dharma, the duties, the Dharma of 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas. So that was the question. So for that, Sukadeva Goswami spoke that I have learnt about Sanatana Dharma and Varnashrama Dharma from Naranarayan Rishis, who are the children of Murti and Dharma. They are there in Himalayas performing austerities. I have learned from them. Whatever I have learned from him, I'll speak to you. So he said, for the mixed devotees, the followers of the Dharma, there are 30 activities to be followed. Out of 30, 9 are already known to us. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanidam. Direct bhakti activities. And other activities which are very much supportive to bhakti. There are 21 activities are there. So they are mentioned. So those who follow these things, they will easily please the Supreme Lord and then easily come back to Godhead. So that is clear. Because other things are as good as that of Prahlad Maharaj. May not be so worse, like Prahlad Maharaj had a father who is completely inimical. That kind of thing may not be there. But other practice of bhakti will be almost similar to that of Prahlad Maharaj. So in that way, he did not go into details of explanation. Then immediately talks about Varnashrama Dharma. And especially those who follow in those families who follow all the samskaras properly. They are called, the children are called Dvija. And Dvija are known as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. And these people, for their spiritual progress, they should do 3 things. For their spiritual progress, these 3 things are compulsory. So what are they? Ijya, Adhyayana, Danani. Ijya means worshipping the deity or performing yajna. Adhyayana, studying the Vedic literatures, and Danani, giving charity. These are the 3 spiritual activities which should be performed by these 3 wise born Vijas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya for their spiritual progress. Only these 3 things will take one higher and higher in one spiritual practice. But however, they need to survive. For their survival, for Brahmana, 3 more activities are mentioned. What are they? They can worship deity or perform yajna for others. When they do all these things for others, they will get remuneration. They will get dakshina or remuneration, whichever it is. With that, they can survive, or they can teach Vedic literatures to others, like Gurukul. They teach students. After they studied, that student will give some Guru Dakshina. That Guru Dakshina is for the maintenance of the Guru. Or they can accept charity from Kshatriya or Vaishya. A Kshatriya or Vaishya who gives charity for their spiritual progress, a Brahmana can accept. So, for the maintenance of one's own livelihood, the Brahmanas have three duties: performing yajna or performing deity worship for the sake of others to the they can representation, and teaching Vedic literatures so that they will get dakshina, and accepting charity which are given by Kshatriya and Vaishya. And they cannot accept charity from anybody and everyone. They should accept charity only those who have the mindset that they are giving this charity with the intention to come back to Godhead. So like that. There are three duties for the Brahmanas. For Kshatriyas, they can teach and they can for the Kshatriyas should never accept charity. So other two they can do. They can teach the Vedas, or they can perform a deity worship and yajna, etc., for others' sake. The best duty for Kshatriyas is they lay taxes whom they protect. Other Kshatriyas, Vaishya, Shudras, they collect taxes from them. The taxes are meant for their maintenance. So other things are in emergency, but general duty of livelihood is this one. And Vaishyas anyway they do trading and cow protection, commerce and all that is mainly livelihood. But in emergency they can also teach Vedas, they can also perform deity worship, etc. Something like that. So, but Brahmanas, these three are basically mentioned. Are all these categories in emergency they can do agriculture, they can take charities, or they can collect grains left over in the field or left over in the marketplace, something like that. So some duties are there. All these things can be made. In emergency, the higher person can do the duties of the lower person. So no problem. But the Brahmana and Kshatriya should never accept the duty of a Shudra, or they should never become the servant of a Shudra. That is forbidden. They should never become the servant of a Shudra, because the Brahmanas are considered to be where is that? Yeah, the Brahmanas are considered to be Sarva Vedamaya Vipraha. They are the summum bonum of all the Vedas. So a Veda personified, how can he become the servant of Shudra who is not qualified to study the Vedas? And Kshatriyas are Sarva Devamayo Nrupa. The Kshatriyas are representative of all the Devatas. How can a Devata who is worshipable becomes a servant of somebody who is not worthy of worship? Something like that. That is understanding. So in that way it is being indicated. The Brahmanas and Kshatriyas should not engage in service to those lower, since the Brahmanas are the personification of the Vedic knowledge, Kshatriyas are like Devatas. So like that. So serving a Kshatriya is called as Swavritti. So they should never take up the Swavritti. So that's where we have seen. Now, these are the duties. What are the activities they're supposed to do for spiritual progress? What are the activities they should do for their survival? And then, what is their psychophysical nature? Next four verses talk about the psychophysical nature of the four Varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So let us see Brahmanas. What is the psychophysical nature of a Brahmana? Tamodamastapasaucham.
Shamodamostapashaucham.
Santosha Kshantirarjavam.
Santosha Shantirajavam.
Jnanam Dayachyutatmatvam.
Jnanam Dayachutatmatvam.
Satyam cha Brahmalakshanam.
Satyam cha Brahma Lakshanam. The symptoms of a Brahmana are control of the mind, control of the senses, austerity and penance, cleanliness, satisfaction, forgiveness, simplicity, knowledge, mercy, truthfulness, and complete surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Of course, these things are similar to that are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, text number 42, 43, 44, 45. In those four verses, the similar qualities of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyata are mentioned. Same way here also. The symptoms of a Brahmana are Sama. Shama means control of the mind. Dama means control of the senses. Tapa, austerity. Shaucham, cleanliness. Santosha, satisfaction. The Santushta ena kenava. They should be satisfied whatever they have. Shanti, forgiveness. Arjavam, simplicity. Jnanam, knowledge about absolute truth. Daya, mercy. Achyutatmatvam. Okay. Satyam is truthfulness. And Achyutatmatva means complete surrender to Lord Vishnu. Considering Achyuta to be one's own self. That is the understanding. Cha Brahma Lakshanam. These are the qualities of a Brahmana. So a Brahmana should possess all these wonderful qualities. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Of course, not only 11, there could be many more, but these are very important notable qualities. Control of the mind, control of the senses, tapasya, saucham, satisfaction, forgiveness. That four pillars of dharma we generally say na satyam, saucham, dhaya, tapaha. Saucham, tapaha, dhaya, and satyam. All those four are completely they are there. So that's why one is Brahmana. The unique qualities of each Varna are now described in four verses. Achyutatmatva means absorbing the mind in Lord Vishnu. Complete surrender to Lord Vishnu. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji maham namaskuru. That is one thing. Sattam kirtayanto mam etam dasya duravrata. That is also one thing. So like that, many verses in Bhagavad Gita which say that they are complete surrender, always thinking about Supreme Lord only. So in that way. Next, Kshatriya. Shauryam, Viryam, Drutistejas.
Shauryam, Viryam, Dhritis, Tejas,
त्यागश्चात्मजया क्षमा
Tyagaschatmadaya Kshama,
ब्रह्मण्यता प्रसादश्च
Brahmanyasta Prasadascha,
सत्यं च क्षत्रलक्षणम्
Satyam Cha Chatra Lakshanam. To be influential in battle, unconquerable, patient, challenging, and charitable, to control the bodily necessities, to be forgiving, to be attached to the Brahmanical nature, and to be always jolly and truthful. These are the symptoms of the Kshatriya.
Same as Bhagavad Gita. Bravery in battle, Shauryam. Being unconquerable, Viryam. Fortitude, Dhruti means fortitude. One will be able to stay for long in the battlefield. Conquering others, Tejas. Charity, Tyaga. Controlling the bodily necessities, Atma Jayaha. So, not succumbing to the demands of the senses and mind. So, control. Forgiveness, Kshama. Friendliness to other Brahmanas. Brahmanyata Prasadas. So, friendliness to other Brahmanas. Joy and truthfulness. Satyam is truthfulness, Prasadas means joy, and Brahmanyata means friendliness to other Brahmanas. These are the symptoms of Kshatriya. So many are there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 important qualities are there. Shauryam, Viryam, Dhutisteja, Tyagas,chatma Jaya Kshama, Brahmanyata, Prasadascha, Satyamcha. So like that. So these are the qualities of a Kshatriya. Similarly, Vaishya. What are the qualities of Vaishya? Devaguru Achyute Bhaktis
Guru Achyute Bhaktis
Tride Trivarga Pariposhanam
Trivarga Pariposhanam
Astikyam Utyamo Nityam
Astikyam Utyamo Nityam
Naipunyam Vaishalakshanam.
Naipunyam Vaishalakshanam. Being always devoted to the demigods, the spiritual master, and the supreme lord, Vishnu, endeavoring for advancement in religious principles, economic development, and sense gratification, dharma, artha, kama, believing in the words of the spiritual master and scripture, and always endeavoring with expertise in earning money, these are the symptoms of the Vaishya.
Deva Guru Achyute Bhakti. Bhakti, the devotional sentiments towards Devatas, one's own Guru, and Lord Vishnu. Then, endeavoring for advancement in religious principles. Three Varga Pariposhanam. Dharma, Artha, Kama. So, one should be continuously progressing in Dharma, Artha, Kama. That is Vaishya's duty. Endeavoring for advancement in Dharma, religious principles, Artha, economic development, and Kama, sense gratification. Faith in the Vedas, Astikyam, and constant endeavor, Ujjamu Nityam. They should endeavor continuously to execute Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Naipunyam. In whatever they do, they are expert. These are the symptoms of Vaishya. So, Vaishya person should possess these principles. Basically, they should have complete respect and surrender towards Devatas, Gurus, and Supreme Lord Vishnu. And then they should be always endeavoring to execute Dharma, Artha, Kama according to the Vedic literatures. In order to execute, one should have faith in the Vedic literature, that is Astikyam. And every day they should endeavor. Udyamo Nityam means they should endeavor for what they are supposed to do. Whatever they are supposed to do, they should be doing it. So these are the duties of Vaishya. Then finally, the duties of Kshatriya. Shudrasya sannati shauryam, sorry, Shudrasya sannati saucham,
शूद्रस्य सन्नति शौचम्
seva swamini amayaya,
सेवा स्वामिनि अमायया
amantra yajno hi asteyam,
मन्त्रयज्ञो हि अस्तेयम्
satyam go vipralakshanam.
सत्यं गोविप्रलक्षणम्. Offering obeisances to the higher sections of society, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. Being always very clean, being free from duplicity, serving one's master, performing sacrifices without uttering mantras, not stealing, always speaking the truth, and giving all protection to the cows and Brahmanas. These are the symptoms of the Shudras.
The symptoms of a Shudra are indicated here. Offering obeisances to the higher classes, cleanliness. So, Shudrasya Lakshanam, what are they? Sannati, offering obeisance to the higher classes. Saucham, cleanliness. Seva Swamini, freedom from duplicity. Service to one's master. Seva Swamini is service to one's master. Amaya is freedom from the duplicity. And performing sacrifices without uttering mantras. Amantra Yajno. Because Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, they go to Gurukul, they learn mantras to perform yajna. So they can perform yajna on their own because they have learned the mantra, they can recite mantras and perform yajna. They don't need to call a priest. Yes, it is mentioned the spiritual activities for these three people are Ijja, Adhyayana, and Danani. execution, performance of deity worship and performance of yajna, and studying the scriptures, and also giving charity. These are the three important activities, spiritual activities for the upper three castes: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. But Shudras, they should not do, yes, at least Vivaha yajna they should do. They can do, but they cannot chant mantras. They are not qualified to chant mantras. They can request another Brahmana to perform and chant yajna on their behalf. So something like that. So performing sacrifice without uttering mantras, not stealing, asteyam. So if somebody is, even a Shudra should not steal. Then what to speak of Vaishya, Kshatriya and Brahmana? If a Shudra should not steal, the higher caste anyway should not steal. If a person steals, he is not even considered Shudra. Then what to speak of considering such a person as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya? So that is understanding. Speaking the truth, Satyam. Satyam is there in every place. Everyone need to be truthful. And giving protection to the cows and Brahmanas. Go Vipra Rakshanam. So the Vaishyas are supposed to take care of cows. It is said like that. But Vaishyas possess lot of cows, but they are taken care by Shudras. So in that way. But practically, actually groundwork will be done by Shudras. And they also take care of the Brahmanas. Protection of the cows and Brahmanas means for Brahmanas whatever required, they will do all the things. And they will also guard the Brahmanas and protect the Brahmanas. So these are the duties of Shudras. So these are the symptoms of a Shudra. So in this way, all these are four Varnas, their particular qualities and psychophysical nature, their characteristics are mentioned in these four verses.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Ramataji.
Prabhuji, which type of yajnas are there which are done without uttering the mantras, like it is written?
No. See, it is not that uttering a mantra. They cannot utter. They need to call the priest.
Okay.
Right now in our place, one marriage is happening. So we call a priest. Priest will chant the mantras.
Okay, so they will get it chanted from the Brahmanas.
They themselves are not qualified to chant mantras. That is the distinction.
So in one way, we all are doing that, na Prabhuji, like because
we have not learnt mantras. I mean, of course, those even nowadays, those who are born in Brahmana family, they have not learnt. So they are taking the help of somebody who knows. Yeah, this is Kali Yuga.
Yeah, and even those Brahmanas, how purely they utter, that also is questionable.
Whatever. But at least if they have gone through training, they can learn and they can recite.
Yeah.
The understanding is the upper three Varnas can perform an yajna on their own because they have learned how to do in the Gurukul.
Okay.
So that is understanding.
So Prabhuji, Vaishnava is above the level of these four Varnas.
See, forget now above, below and all, forget it. Now just understand what are these. No need to compare.
No, not for comparing. Means Vaishnavas can perform yajna that way.
Not everyone. Is everyone is performing?
No,
There also one need to go through training, na? There also one need to go through training.
Yeah.
So how many are performing now in our society?
Very few.
Matlab, they need to go to proper training. Prior to that, they need to get Brahman initiated. Without that, one cannot do.
Yeah, right.
Dvija means Brahman initiation.
Yeah.
And these three are Brahman initiated. And for a Brahman initiation, they should go through all the previous samskaras also. That's what the very first verse says. Those who performed all the samskaras properly, they are called Dvijas. And they are qualified to do all these things. Ijja, Adhyayana and Dhyana.
Yeah.
It is very simple. The rules are very simple, straightforward here. No confusion here.
Yeah.
But problem is that we want to find shortcuts. Here, this rule, when I was reading in the afternoon, simple. I mean, so they should not steal. Matlab, if a person steals something, that person is not even considered as a Shudra. then what to speak of considering that person as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya? And also, Satyam, not speaking lies. If a person speaks lies, it should not be considered as even Shudra. Then what to speak of considering such a person as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya?
And even cleanliness, like means we generally see now the Shudra category of people, they are usually those who are unclean and they will take
No,
means
no,
all.
no. Wait. What we may say, these are this is today based on today's consideration, though that is not at all valid. You may say somebody, okay, these are all like this category, but they may not be even that also. To be like that, all these things should be there. All these things are there or not? The person whom you are calling, whether they all possess all these things. Are they respectful towards higher classes, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya? They are cleanliness. They are clean or freedom from duplicity. They are not duplicitous in their behavior. And they do service to their master without finding cutting corners or without cheating mentality. And they also perform all these samskaras, but they don't utter mantras, but they take the help of others.
Yeah.
And speaking the truth and giving protection to the cows and brahmanas. How many? Today's situation is beyond our imagination. We can't put these things today. Even what to speak of this? Even this person, you see, this person, complete control of the mind, complete control of the senses, full tapasya, full austerity, fully clean, satisfied with what they have. No need to worry about visa, GRE, TOEFL, and kshama and simplicity in one's behavior and having knowledge. ब्रह्म जानाति इति ब्राह्मण ब्रह्म ज्ञान होना चाहिए सबसे पहले. And
Actually,
truthful
many
and
things.
complete surrender to Lord Vishnu. ये भी है अच्युतात्मत्वम. तो ये सब नहीं तो कैसे बोलेंगे? It's
Because
very
that
difficult.
this class, yeah, no, sorry, you continue.
No. At least today, now in today and age, it is very difficult to get a proper person.
Yeah, and actually the injunctions, whatever has been mentioned in the Shastras, that are very difficult to follow in today's day and age. Like
No, because we have made it like that. We have made our surroundings like that. We don't want to follow. That's why we made, and we have taken the excuse that we can't follow. First of all, we don't want to follow.
because that Silonchan and all that thing I was reading of the last class. So means it is very difficult that means whatever is fallen in the fields only pick up that and then with that you continue your life with that. It's so very difficult.
But see,
Yeah.
one who performs austerity, the principle of austerity is the main purpose is to get detached from this world. Why they are doing all these things? They are doing it only just for survival. अपने आप को सर्वाइव करने के लिए कितना चाहिए उतना बस उतना मिलेगा तो काफी है. उसके लिए ज्यादा एंडेवर नहीं करने का. किसके लिए एंडेवर कर रहे हैं? टू गो बैक होम बैक टू गॉडेड. So it's like that.
Thank you.
Now, just like in the last four verses, the duties of men in four Varnas are mentioned: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Same way, the duties of a woman in any of these four Varnas, anywhere, the woman is there. So women also will have some duties. If men is following all these wonderful duties, so what kind of duties the woman should follow? So they are mentioned in the next four verses. स्त्रीणां च पतिदेवानां
स्त्रीणां च पतिदेवानां
तत्शुश्रूषानुकूलता
तच्छुश्रूषानुकूलता
तद्बन्धुषु अनुवृत्तिश्च
तद्बन्धुष्व अनुवृत्तिश्च
नित्यं तद्व्रतधारणम्.
नित्यं तद्व्रतधारणम्. To render service to the husband, to be always favorably disposed towards the husband, to be equally well disposed towards the husband's relatives and friends, and to follow the vows of the husband. These are the four principles to be followed by women. described as chaste.
So, for just like for men, the different duties are there. Similarly, for women, in any one of these four varnas, the four duties are the four principal duties are mentioned. Strinam cha pati devanam tat sushrusha anukulata, to render service to the husband. So, pati devanam sushruta. The first duty is render service to the husband. How? To be always favorably disposed toward the husband. Anukulata. We hear na in the definition of bhakti. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. So serving, but with anukula mentality, and to be to be equally well disposed towards the husband's relatives. Tad bandhushu. So render service favorably, and favorably disposed to the relatives of the husband, and then finally anuruttischa, and to follow the vows of the husband, completely follow the vows of husband. So in these four ways, the woman should be supportive to the husband. So always serve the husband, and the service should be favorable, and serve the family members of the husband, and then and follow all the vows of the husband. The characteristics of a chaste woman are described in 5 verses. See why all these things are mentioned. Let us see. Actually, last verse says why when a woman can do all these things as mentioned here. There is a because the principle is there. When you understand the principle, then everything becomes clear. The principle comes in the last verse. But anyway, we'll go through the verses. Then we'll see after the last verse what it says. Sammarjanopalepaabhyam
Sammarjanopalepaabhyam
Grihamandana Grihamandana Vartanai
Grihamandana Vartane
Swayam cha mandita nityam
Swayam cha mandita nityam
Parimrushta Parichada
Parimrishta Parichada
Kamer Uchavachai Sadvi
Kame Ruchavachai Sadvi
Prashrayena Damena cha
Prashrayena Damena cha
Vakyai Satyai Priyai Premna
Vakyai Satyai Priyai Premna
Kale Kale Pachepatim.
Kale Kale Bhajet Patim. The chaste woman must dress nicely and decorate herself with golden ornaments for the pleasure of her husband. Always wearing clean and attractive garments, she should sweep and clean the household with water and other liquids so that entire house is always pure and clean. She should collect the household paraphernalia and keep the house always aromatic with incense and flowers, and must be ready to execute the desires of her husband. Being modest and truthful, controlling her senses, and speaking in sweet words, a chaste woman should engage in the service of her husband with love according to time and circumstances.
So there are four duties and then additional duties. Always well decorated and wearing clean cloth. Sammarjanopalepaabhyam Griha Mandana Vartane Swayam cha Mandita Nityam. Swayam cha means every day decorate oneself nicely, wearing fresh clothes. She should please her husband by washing and decorating the house. Sammarjane upa Upalepabayam Grihamandana Vartanai. So basically, So the wife should bathe and dress nicely, clean clothes every day, and she should clean and keep neatly the entire home and other things. She should please her husband by washing and decorating the house, by offering great and small services. Ucha avachai sadvi prashrayena damenacha. So render small and big services, being by modesty, control of the senses, by truthful and pleasing speech. Vyakye satyam, truthful, priyai, pleasing, and premna, with affection. So such kind of word should be spoken. So in that way. So all these things are mentioned. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that a wife should nicely decorate when husband is there. When husband is out, so matlab, if he has gone out for a trip or something like that, that time she should decorate in a simple clothes, something like that. So these are some of the other duties of uh, wife. Now, two more verses. Santushtalolupadaksha
Santushta. Yeah, please
Continue.
carry on.
Santushta
Santushta lol. Okay, carry on.
Santushtalolupadaksha
Dharmajna Priya Satyavak
Dharmajna Priya Satyavak
Apramatta Suchisnigdha
Apramatta Shuchi Snigdha
Patim Tu Apatitam Bhaje.
Patim Tu Apatitam Bhaje. A chaste woman should not be greedy, but satisfied in all circumstances. She must be very expert in handling household affairs and should be fully conversant with religious principles. She should speak pleasingly and truthfully and should be very careful and always clean and pure. Thus, a chaste woman should engage with affection in the service of a husband who is not fallen.
Hmm. Many times some our devotees have question, if husband is not proper, then what should we do? Should we follow or not? So at least Bhagavatam is clearly mentioning apatitam bhajet. That means when husband is proper, then women these duties are mentioned for the wife in that sense. So what are the duties? Being satisfied, santushta, not demanding ye chahiye wo chahiye. Without greed, all olupa. When there is no greed, there is satisfaction. When there is greed, there is no satisfaction. Taksha, expert at executing all the household duties. Dharmagnya, knowledgeable of dharma. So they should know why they are executing. What is the purpose of doing all the household duties? That is to accomplish the principles of dharma. And then in their day-to-day behavior, while dealing with all the family members, friends, and relatives, Priya Satyavak. They should be speaking and pleasing and truthful words. They cannot be frivolous. And then Aparamatta. They should be always attentive in their dealings, in their activities. Suchi. They are clean. Snigdha. So with all these additional qualities, they should continuously serve the husband. Patim tu apatitam bhajet. So tu is word is used, matlab, it's very important. So when a wife is supposed to do all these things, when the husband is apatitam, she should compulsory do all these things. When husband is patitam, then there should be some consideration of compromise here and there, etc. So like that. Now, so what do you mean by apatitam? So apatitam bola आपने, मन मतलब क्या है? What do you mean? Of course, the husband is supposed to follow the characteristics mentioned in the previous four verses. If a Brahmana husband, Brahmanical qualities, Kshatriya husband, Kshatriya qualities, Vaishya husband, Vaishya qualities, Shudra husband, Shudra qualities. When somebody following those qualities as mentioned in the previous four verses, such a husband is called apatitam. And such a husband should be served by the wife as mentioned in the previous four verses. And finally, why? Why at all wife has to serve the husband? And why at all husband should not be patita? What was the reason? That is mentioned in the last verse. Ya patim hari bhavena
या पतिं हरिभावेन
bhaje sririva tatpara
भजेत् श्रीरिव तत्पराम्
hari atmana harer loke
हरि आत्मना हरेर्लोके
patya sririva modate.
तत्या श्रीरिव मोदते. The woman who engages in the service of her husband, following strictly in the footsteps of the goddess of fortune, surely returns home back to Godhead with her devotee husband and lives very happily in the Vaikuntha planets.
The woman who, like Mother Lakshmi, engages in service of her husband by thinking of her husband as the Lord. Patim Haribhavena Bhaje Sri Iva Tatpara. Just like Mother Lakshmi continuously serves Lord Vishnu, like that, considering one's own husband as Lord Hari, non different from Lord Hari, the wife should serve her husband. And such a wife enjoys in Vaikuntha with her devotee husband like Lakshmi. So if such a wife serves her husband like Lord Vishnu, then when husband goes back to Godhead, the wife also goes back to Godhead along with the husband. It's like that. This is the principle behind all the duties. She enjoys with her husband who has the Lord as his soul. The husband is Achyutatmana. He is completely dedicated to Lord Achyuta. And such a person becomes Achyuta for the wife. And just like one want to serve Lord Vishnu, here the woman serves her own husband like Lord Vishnu. So one's own husband is like an expansion of Lord Vishnu here. Just like we serve the deity and Guru, considering them as non-different from Supreme Lord. So in that way. Same way, for woman, husband is non-different from Lord Vishnu. When that husband is Achyutatmana, who considers Achyuta to be one's own life and soul. So this is the Varnashram system. And this is the principle behind executing all these services. If this is there, remaining all fall in place. Of course, one cannot have any question. How can I do? How can I do? If this is there, ultimately, the purpose of doing all these things is going back to Godhead. If one wants to go back to Godhead, this is the process. For husband, Achyutatmana. For wife, Haribhavena. So like that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Namah.
Prabhuji, we do see in the scriptures, there are examples that if a wife is not a devotee, but husband is devotee, but she is faithfully serving her husband, then she gets the chance to go back to Godhead. Like Tukaram Maharaj's example also, I think many times quoted that example. That she was not a devotee, but she used to serve very faithfully. But when we see currently in ISKCON, we see many situations like that, where the situation is just the opposite. Like wife is a devotee, but husband is non-devotee. And that time, many times means this is a practical problem even we face like many times that many times wife wants to advance in the devotion, but husband is opposing. So if against the husband's wish she tries to do the devotional service, or due to that at times there may be clashes among husband and wife, then thus that wife gets the negative credit of that, because she's in a way not following, but in other sense if we see she's following the higher duty of serving the Lord. So how it should be understood?
See, I'm not sure. I don't have any answer for this question because I have never dealt with things. So, but one thing, of course, one way what scriptures are saying, the ideal behavior which we may not see in today's situation, but in any case, whether we cannot say that somebody is completely non-devotee. Today apparently it may seem that they are non-devotee, tomorrow they become devotee. So just like a Uttamadhikari sees everyone as a devotee, so one should see everyone as a prospective devotee. They might become devotee tomorrow. So when they become devotee, what kind of respect I give them, let me give the same respect even now also. So in that way, there is no consideration of devotee non-devotee. That is there. But however, in a family or in business or anywhere, in dealings there is always conflict that we cannot avoid. We are not so pure that the problem is when two people are selfless, then there is no problem. When two people are not selfless, if one is selfless, other one is selfish, there is always a problem. And when two people are selfish, there is always problem. So it is very difficult. So among the pure devotees, when both are selfless, there will be no conflict. But when there is that is not there, then there is always a chance of conflict. That one has to deal. One has to day to day. One has to deal every moment. One has to deal that there is no solution or shortcut solution for that. No one can give solution for that.
Yeah, because many times even those Mataji devotees who have come to the level of taking devotion, they are following everything properly, but they are still waiting to take devotion because they have to cook non-veg for their husband. So in that situation, it is very difficult to guide, and as a as a means supplying advice to them or counselor, it becomes very difficult to understand the scriptures, and we cannot say that scriptures. It means once I had asked some other question to His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj, and he said that scriptures are to be applicable for all ages. It is not that in Kali Yuga we can't apply this.
It
So,
is not that we can't apply, but we are not prepared to practice.
so in such situations, should we guide them that yes, you should cook such things for your husband because your husband wants that and it is your service to do?
See, it is
Because
both the way problematic. If you say it is not, if you say you do it, you are not following Vaishnava principle. If you say you
ah,
don't do it, you are not following wife principle. So, but anyway, that is not at all wife principle. Wife is not, from at least from dharma point of view also, it is not at all a principle. But what can be done? But now, just because this one thing you cannot separate.
yeah, and Prabhuji, like you mentioned now that someday that person may also become devotee. Very true. Means I conceptually I agree with this point. But when that point will come, who knows? And till that point of time, just carrying on like this, that is also not according to the scriptures. No, so when they ask us, for us also it is very difficult situation, Prabhuji, what to answer. No, that becomes the problem.
Yeah,
And
that is true. What to speak of, you are asking some other reason. Even we went through. When we became devotees, we stopped. But just because we stopped, the family did not stop. So we
yeah,
have to deal with the family members for so long. For many years, they were all eating and I was not eating. So we have to deal with them. So in the sense, so it will take time. It cannot happen. We need to be patient. So for some time we need to बोलते हैं ना अनदेखा करना पड़ेगा.
yeah,
We should see and don't see. So when in the core of the heart we should be praying. So please bring me out of this situation. Please help my family members to understand that this is not a proper thing. So like that, I also used to pray. At least in those days when in the family functions and all, when they do all these things, I used to fast. I would not eat anything. And they would say that why are you not eating? I would say because you have done all these things, I cannot eat today. So when I do fast, so all others would at least The close relatives would consider. I mean, Matlab is not acting, but is real. So eventually they understood and they accept. When I am around, they will never ever raise such words and they will understand now. Of course, now I am saffron, now they will understand the way. This is long back when I was in white also. It will take time. It will not happen overnight. It will take at least a few years. Not that they will completely change. At least our family members will accept and they understand and they will do some allowances for us. So it will take some time.
Prabhuji, and one small thing like here it is mentioned about if the husband is patita, then the wife may not serve him like that, or some mention was there. So here what patita means, what kind of a patita husband?
No, I told na. Previously, the 4 verses talking about Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra.
Ah,
Those who are following those qualities, the men who are supposed to follow all those things, if they are following all those things, they are not patita. If they are not following, being that, they are patita.
oh, okay.
Mm.
And those who don't fit into that category because of
Ah,
not following properly, those are
yes. So in that way. See, now they're simple. If you want to say somebody IAS, whom you will say IAS?
one who follows the all the principles properly.
No, one who has qualified, one who has given
Yeah.
the exam, interview, all those things, training, everything. Then they are called so and so. Same way, if somebody is supposed to be called as Brahmana, they have to go through training. They have not gone through training and they are not behaving the way they are expected. Then how can you call them Brahmana? Then it is Patita. So
Okay.
a wife is supposed to follow all these things, but if husband is not that, so there could be some. It is not that she should not follow, but there could be some allowance. There could be little compromise. Being a wife, this is the expected from wife.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so in that way. But anyway, in today's condition, in the past, I have told this many times. The men used to go to Gurukul, they used to take initiation from Guru and they used to learn everything. When they come back home, they get married and then they teach their wives. The wife would never go to Gurukul, the wife would never study under a Guru or anybody. When before marriage, the girl will learn from the parents and grandparents, and after marriage, she will learn everything from husband. That's why it is said, na? The wife should also know Dharma. So, Dharmajna, from where there she will understand Dharmajna, she will not go to Gurukul. But instead, she will learn from parents, mother, father, grandparents, and after marriage, she will learn from husband. Whatever husband learnt in the Gurukul, he will teach in essence. May not be all the technical things, but whatever she can understand as per her intellectual acumen, so he will teach. That is their main activity throughout their life. And whatever she learns, she will teach her children before they go to Gurukul 7 8 years back. So knowledge transmission, the main activity of one's life. Everyone, wherever they may be.
Yeah. Maybe Vedic life was like that.
It is
Because
like that.
in a few years back, down the line, means there used to be a lot of women used to be always busy with the household chore and work, but never used to get chance to learn properly.
Mm. But nowadays things are opposite.
The
Things are
reverse.
completely different. What
Yeah.
men are doing, women are doing.
Yeah.
So they say that we are no less than men. So and they are also going to Gurukul. They are also getting initiated. They are also getting. I mean, they are treated equally with the men. So now there is no women in that sense.
Yeah.
So like that.
Thank you.
Other devotees, you are okay? Any questions?
No question, Prabhuji. Thank you.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay. So don't feel like okay, these are too much high expectation and all, but we should understand at least once what is expected from all of us. The to be called as someone, so what is the expected thing? Just like one supposed to be called as IAS officer, so there is some expectations are there. One need to go through rigorous selection procedure, qualifying procedure, training, all those things, and also eventually the behavior also accordingly. So then only a person can be called as so and so. So like that, If a person is supposed to be called as a Brahmana, certain regime training is there. Similarly, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and the Brahmana Patni, Kshatriya Patni, Vaishya Patni, and Shudra Patni, they also have their expected qualifications. So no one is spared. Don't think that someone is okay, someone is spared. No, everyone has greater responsibility. But ultimately, why, for what purpose everyone is doing all these things? For this purpose. This is the purpose. When one does all these things, it is guaranteed that they'll go to Vaikuntha. Both wife and husband will go to Vaikuntha. If this is the goal, one should be ready to do all these things. If this is not the goal, whatever one does, it does not matter. So what is happening today? Because we don't know the purpose only. When you don't know the purpose, whether you follow, don't follow, what difference it makes? So it is like that. The purpose is Harer Loka. So one has to go to Hariloka. If one does not want to go to Hariloka, whatever way one lives, it does not make any difference. It's okay, up to them. So like that. Vritti Sankara Jatinam
Vritti Shankara Jatinam
Tattat Kulakrita Bhavet
Tattat Kulakrita Bhavet
Chauranam Apapanam
Achauranam Apapanam
Antejjantyavasayinam.
Antyajante Vasayinam. Among the mixed classes known as Shankara, those who are not thieves are known as Ante, Antevasai or Chandalas, dog eaters, and they also have their hereditary customs.
The occupations of a person, of persons of mixed caste, who are not thieves and are not sinful in conduct, such as the caste called Antyaja and Antyavasai, should be the occupations of their family traditions. So, four Varnas we have been discussing: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. There may be a question. If somebody is not following all these four Varnas, what they should be called as? Some information about that is being given here. The occupations of persons of mixed castes, these are mixed people. So normally there are straightforward castes: Brahmana, Brahmana, Brahmana wife, Brahmana husband, Brahmana children. But there is a intercaste marriages, there is a mixed caste, Varna Sankara. So the occupations of the persons of mixed caste who are not thieves. The first thing is that they are not thieves. That we already seen. Asteyam. Even a person should be called as Shudra, they are not supposed to steal. That means if somebody steals, they are below Shudra. So they are not thieves. And they are not sinful in conduct. They are not doing sinful activities. So Achaurana means they are not chore. Apapana means they are not sinful people by activities. Then, such as the caste called as Anteja and Antevasai, should do the occupations of their family tradition. So below Shudra, there are two category people, Anteja and Antevasai. They are not Chora, they are not Papa, but they are recommended to do their family occupation only. They should not do others occupations, so they should do continue their family occupation. The occupations of those who marry a woman of higher or lower Varna are described now. So wife one Varna and husband another Varna. There is an intercaste marriage and their children are being indicated here. They take the occupations of their family. So whatever is the family occupation, they will continue. Thus, those from barber families become barbers and those from washermen families becomes washermen. So family occupation will go on in that. These persons should not come from the sinful families such as those addicted to drinking and illicit sex. So now, apapanam. So papanam means what? Which kind of family is considered to be sinful family? So Acharya say those who are addicted to drinking wine, illicit sex. We can also include eating meat and gambling. Those who do these four sinful activities are considered to be from the papanam, from the family of sinful activities, meat eating, intoxication, illicit gambling. And also, thievery is also forbidden. So gambling, thievery is nonsense in gambling only. Without working hard, want to get money. These occupations, without involving theft, are considered to have no sin attached to them. Some examples are given of persons married to women of higher caste. So some examples are given. The washerman, leather dealer, actor, cane splitter, fisherman, the Meda and the mountain tribal are known as Antyaja. Antyaja are those whose mother is of higher caste, father is of lower caste, and their children are called as Antyaja. Such kind of people, some examples are washerman, leather dealer, actor, cane splitter, fisherman, and Meda, and the mountain tribal. And they should continue to do their family occupation. Angevasai means Chandala, born of a Brahmana woman and Shudra man and others. So this is Anteja. And here Antyavasai is also there. Antyavasai means a person who is born of a Brahmana woman and Shudra man. There's a lot of gap. A Brahmana woman getting married to Shudra man, begetting children, such kind of children are called as Antyavasai. So like that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Prabhuji, even Sutta Goswami was born out of
No,
mixed
Suta Goswami,
marriages.
the Suta, there the difference is not so much. Brahmana mother and Kshatriya father.
Okay, that difference is not considered much.
The difference is low, little, and but they will have some other occupations. They can either become a carpenter or charioteer or the reciter of Puranas, etc. That's why they are called as Suta. The Suta community are multiple variations are there. One variation of Suta is Purana reciters. Other variation is carpenters. Other variation is chariot drivers. Our Karna's father is there, na? Adhirata.
Yes.
So they are carpenter, not car, they are carpenter come chariot driver. So they would make chariots as well as they would drive chariots. Adhirata was the chariot driver of Dhritarashtra for some time and also for Bhishma for some time. So like
But
that.
Sutta Goswami became a Vaishnava.
Name, see, now don't put into Vaishnava Vandal again now. Just see from the Varnashna point of view only. So he's a Brahmana.
Okay.
He
But
became
they
the
can
Purana
become
reciters.
Brahmanas.
Huh?
They can become Brahmanas if they
No,
wish to.
Brahmana means Brahmana, like we will see
Like
couple of
what it
verses later what it means. So he's a Suta only. He is not called as Brahmana, but he is given the same respect as that of Brahmana.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, just one clarification. Like here, whatever is meant, if a lady of higher varna, she marries the person of a lower varna, that they are called Anteja. But when that difference is from Brahmana woman marrying Shudra person, then they are called Antevasai, Chandala, like that.
Yeah. If difference is too much, they are called Antevasai. If difference is less, they are called Anteja.
Yeah, and one more thing here mentioned, Prabhuji, that they do the occupation of their family occupation like that. So means like for the other higher varnas like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, sorry, Vaishya till then, there also we see Prabhuji like whatever the family is following same occupation, generally the others will follow, na, those in the line. Because Brahmana's son would become usually Brahmana, not always, but usually.
No, we are talking about Brahmana father, not Brahmana mother. If a Brahmana mother marries a Kshatriya father, then what the son will become?
Okay, okay. Then still he will follow the occupation of what the father's occupation.
More or less father's occupation only, because father is of lesser category. So lesser category duty only will perform.
Okay, understood. Yeah. Thank you.
So here father is Shudra and mother is Brahmani. So son cannot become a Brahmana.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
So, and then for Sutas, mother is a Brahmani, but father is a Kshatriya. So he is neither Kshatriya nor Brahmana, he is somewhere in between. So if there is more Brahmanical quality, they become Purana reciters, and more fatherly qualities are there, they'll become chariot drivers. So like that.
Thank you.
So of course there are many more gradations are there, many more details are there. Right now Bhagavatam does not get into all these things. All those things are explained in the Dharma Shastras, like Manusmriti and other things. They talk about all those things in detail. The principle is, when the husband is of higher category, he can lead the subordinate properly. That is the thing. So he can guide the dependent wife or children in a proper direction to come back to Godhead. If the wife is coming from higher category but marries a lower category husband, she has to follow the husband. Husband is of lower category, then wife also will degrade, and children also will degrade. So in that way. Praya Swabhava Vihito.
Praya Swabhava Vihito.
Drunam Dharmo Yuge Yuge.
Nam Dharmo Yuge Yuge.
Vedadrugbihi Smruto Rajan.
Vedadrubhi Smruto Rajan.
Pretyacheha cha Sharmakrit.
Pretyacheha cha Sharmakru. My dear King, Brahmanas, well conversant in Vedic knowledge, have given their verdict that in every age or yuga, the conduct of different sections of people according to their material modes of nature is auspicious both in this life and after death.
O king, those in knowledge of the Vedas say that in every yuga, an occupation according to one's nature generally brings happiness in this life and after death. That means Swadharma Nidhanam Shreya Paradharmo Bhayavaha. If we do our own dharma according to our psychophysical nature, it may apparently appear to be very hard, but eventually it will give us happiness and it will take us back home back to Godhead. Matlab, on the way towards back home back to Godhead. So in that way, same Bhagavad Gita verse coming here. It is better to perform one's own occupation, though inferior, than the occupation of a superior Varna. This is the conclusion of the knowers of the Veda. It is the cause of happiness, Sharmakrit. Even Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Shreyan Swadharmo Viguna Paradharma Suanushtitaha Swadharme Nidanam Shreya Paradharmo Bhayavaha. It is better to perform one's own duties even if in a faulty way than to perform others' duties, albeit very well. Distraction in the course of one's duties is beneficial. Performing others' duties is full of danger. Performing other duties, even expertly, is full of danger. So, this is the principle which is laid down in the Vedic literatures. This is a general principle because giving a bad conduct found in the lower groups does not bring unhappiness. So it is not that it is a rigid principle for everyone, but for majority of people, this principle should be followed. But there could be some exceptions. Even they may be born in the lower categories, but they may have the characteristics or qualities of the higher order. Such kind of people should be given allowance. So that is there. But in general, majority of people, this is the principle recommended. Like that. Praya means almost 99% are like this. The 1% are exception. So that is always there. Vritya swabhava kritya
वृत्त्या स्वभावकृत्या
vartamana swakarmana
वृत्तमान
swakarmakrit
वृत्तिमाना स्वकर्मकृत्
hitva swabhavajam karma
हित्वा स्वभावाजं जनकर्म
शनैर निर्गुणताम यात.
शनैर्निर्गुणा गुणात्मा इयात्. Translation: If one acts in his profession according to his position in the modes of nature and gradually gives up these activities, he attains the Nishkama stage.
If one acts in one's profession according to one's nature, after gradually giving up one's own actions according to one's own nature, one attained the stage beyond the gunas, nirgunatvam. So basically, when we perform the duties, the varna and ashrama duties as per our psychophysical nature, slowly, we develop detachment and eventually will attain Jivan Mukta platform, Nirgunatva. So if that is the goal, if the goal is to attain Nirgunatva and going back home back to Godhead, then it is better to perform one's own duties instead of performing somebody else's duties, even though expertly. But better to perform one's own duties even with some mistakes. Such a person gradually gives up his nature after many births. It is said, Swadharma Nishta Shatajanmavi Puman Virinchitam Eti. One who strictly follows the principles of Varnashram Dharma for at least 100 births will attain the position of Lord Brahma. So, it's like if one only performs Varnashrama duties perfectly for 100 lifetimes, one becomes Brahma. If one does a little bit more than that, Tata Paramhimam, Lord Shiva speaks this verse. If one does more than that, they will attain Lord Shiva. They will not become Lord Shiva, but they will attain the abode of Lord Shiva. That is Brahmajyoti. If one does something more than that, they will attain the abode of Lord Vishnu. So like that. If one does Varnashram duties properly for 100 lifetimes, one becomes Brahma. Below 100, one can attain Brahma Loka. Up to 19, one may attain Brahma Loka. If one does 100 times, one becomes Brahma. If more than 100 times, or little more than this, just to Varnashram duties, just to gross duties and all. So one becomes one becomes an associate of Lord Shiva. More than that, one becomes an associate of Lord Vishnu with Bhakti includes. So like that. So this is a verse comes in the Rudra Gita. In Rudra Gita section, Lord Shiva was speaking to the 4 Prachetas, there are 10 Prachetas. That is one of the important verse in that section. Swadharmanishta Chitajarma Vipman Virinchita Med Taparamiham Avyakrutam Bhagavatota Vaishnavam. So in that way. Upyamanam Muhukshetram
Upyamanam muhukshetram
Svayam Nirviryatam Yat
Svayam nirviryatam iyat
Na Kalpate Punasutya Sutyai
na kalpate punah sotyai
Uptam Bijam Cha Nashyati
uptam bijam cha nashyati
Evam Kamashayam Chittam
evam kamashayam chittam
Kamanam Matisevaya
kamanam atisevayam
Virajeta Yata Rajan
विरचेत यथा राजन्
अग्निवत् कामबिन्दुभिः
अग्निपत् कामबिन्दुभिः. My dear king, if an agricultural field is cultivated again and again, the power of its production decreases, and whatever seeds are sown there are lost. Just as drops of ghee on a fire never extinguish the fire, but a flood of ghee will similarly overindulgence in lusty desires mitigate the desires entirely.
If a field is cultivated again and again, it becomes barren and suitable for germinating and unsuitable for germinating seeds. Just as small drops of ghee on a fire never extinguish the fire, but a flood of ghee will extinguish the fire. Similarly, by excessive indulgence in lusty desires, the heart may become detached from such desires entirely. So, in the afternoon, when I was preparing this verse, I was thinking like this. Now, just see the previous verse. If one acts in one's profession according to one's nature, after gradually giving up one's actions according to one's nature, one attained the stage of Nirgunatva. Currently, if we are born in a particular family, we become fascinated by seeing what our parents are doing and we want to do it. There is intense desire and there is intense ambition. I want to do it, I want to do it. So one keeps doing. If one is not satisfied, one again takes birth and say similar kind of family again does. So like that, so when one does one activity of, as per one's varna or ashrama in this material world, when one overdoes it, eventually one becomes disinterested in that activity. Initially, one starts doing because of the inclination, because of the interest. But when one does too much, more than, then one becomes disinterested in that. Same way. Of course, here Srila Prabhupada explains, and outside people also talk about it always. Here the word kama means it is taken as lusty desires. So from that lusty desires point of view, so when one engages in too much lusty desires, it is there is a possibility of one becoming disinterested in that thing that is being indicated from this verse. But one meaning is that okay, that externally grossly we can see like that. One is interested in sense gratification. If one is allowed to do too much, one may get disinterested. But here, seeing the flow of the verses, so by, based on this verse, if you see, Swadharmanishta Shatajanmi Viman Virinchita Meti. That means for 100 lifetimes one is doing Varnashram duties here in the Bhuloka, then one gives that up and one goes to Brahmaloka and becomes Brahma. There the different set of duties are there. If one does more than that, one becomes completely disinterested in the material world, one goes to Brahmajyoti. And if one does more than that, one is completely disinterested in staying in the material world and serving any material master. Instead, one want to serve the spiritual master only. It's like that. See, initially we have liking to do something, we do. When we overdo, that liking will go away. We become disinterested and we want to go to some other place and do something else. But what is that some other place here? Nirgunatvam, attaining transcendence. It's not because of this thing. One does so much. One becomes so expertise in that. So, abhi, one does not want to do anymore. So, it is a positive detachment. It is not a negative detachment. So, it is like that. That is the understanding. So, indirectly indicates that we should do our duties properly so that we become detached from all the duties and go back to God and serve the Lord in spiritual atmosphere. So, doing things here properly and more, one can come detached and go back. This is what is also indicated here. Because it is one second, Mataji. because it is impossible for a person with excessive material desires to give up desires by the rule of the Vedas. Rather than forbid all enjoyment, one is allowed to enjoy with an honest heart, and detachment will take place eventually. Examples are Ayati, Shaubari. An example is given in the two verses. That example is ghee. When there is a fire, if you put little ghee, the fire increases. When you put more lot of fire, the fire completely extinguishes. So the examples are Ayati and Shaubari. So Ayati married two wives, Devayani and Sharmishta. When Devayani came to know that Ayati married Sharmishta also without her knowledge, she complained to her father. Father cursed him to become old. He said, "No, so I want to gain my youth." Then father-in-law told, "You exchange your old age with one of your sons." So he exchanged, and then he lived with his two wives for so long, and afterwards he attained detachment. Same way Shaubari. Shaubari Muni saw two fishes coming together. Then he came out of the water, went to Mandata and married Mandata's 50 daughters. And he lived a wonderful life. And through each daughter, he begot hundreds of sons. And eventually, one day, he completely became detached. So that is there. So here the example given is, after much cultivation, sometimes the field is not suitable for germinating seeds anymore. That means if you do excessive agriculture again without giving any gap, that field does not produce any more crops. That means it has become nirgunatva. Sometimes the seeds which are planted are destroyed by the acidic soil. The heart in which desires reside in abundance has various impressions gradually become detached. Just as a blazing fire is not reduced by adding drops of ghee, but is extinguished by pouring a huge quantity of ghee on it. So by indulging in a huge amount of enjoyment, desire is extinguished. Of course, this example we can see it as a negative connotation, but in a positive connotation also it is possible. One does one's duties properly with proper dedication and surrender, so one gets detached from all those things. That is also possible. In a positive context also we can take it. So in that way. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, actually it is little difficult to understand this point because some aspect is with the example of Yayati and Saubari, we could understand that how after. But if I feel, means I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, if for that person, if the center is Vishnu or the Lord Krishna, then at one point this result may come out, but otherwise we see in society like so many drunkards are there, so many womanizers are there, after enjoying very hardly we see any example they come to senses and they leave that thing like that. So how
No.
to
Actually, that is not at all proper comparison. Even if you see Ayati and Shobari also, they never stepped out of the rules and regulations of the dharmic scriptures.
yeah.
Bhagavad Gita we study na dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamos bhartashaba. They followed this principle completely. Apparently, in our Bhagavad Katha, we may say that they are very lustily, they want to spend time with opposite sex and all these things we may say, but it's not like that. If we read other scriptures, they are a very good examples of dharma. They are following dharma, everything they read according to dharma only. That's why I gave the positive example. Positive example is that according to dharma, according to one's psychophysical nature, one does one's varnas notice with very surrender, very much like work is worship type. When one does like that for few lifetimes, fully dedicated, one becomes completely detached. Because whatever that ambitious nature, whatever inclination, or whatever a kind of amusement is there, that is satisfied, one is no more interested in doing that. Like that.
Yeah, so that means the center should be the religious principles laid down
Ah,
by the God.
yes, yes.
Then that transformation will come, like
Ah,
how the Lord says
so
now.
they are
Like,
doing it because they have to do it as per dharma. They want to
yeah,
follow dharma and they want to do it excessively. I mean, they want to follow dharma 100%.
Mhm.
So in
Like
that way.
what Lord says now, like Ami Agya Ami Vigya means if they want to enjoy, but how will I give them only enjoyment like that? So I will take away the desire to enjoy itself. So that way, ultimately, that thing happens like.
Yes.
But otherwise, means for what we see in the current society, because the
The
sense
current
of,
society is where is dharma? Do they
yeah,
following dharma? So then we are not talking about them.
yes, yes, yeah, understood. Thank you.
Bhagavatam, what was the second verse? Dharma projita kaitavotrad paramo nirmastaranam satam. Kaitava dharmas are all kept far aside. Then why would Bhagavatam talk about all these things? Here Bhagavatam is talking about Varnashrama. We already discussed last class. What kind of Varnashrama? Those people who are following Varnashrama with intention to go back to Godhead. Their Varnashrama are only past spoken in the Bhagavatam. The ultimate goal of following all these Varnashrama is to go back to Godhead. There could be some people who might be following Varnashrama not with the intention to go back to Godhead. That is not discussed in the Bhagavatam.
Okay. So
This
then
we
they
have,
follow with what intention?
somebody want to go to Swarga, somebody want to go to Pitruloka, somebody want to become king, somebody want to become wealthy. So many. There is no end to the desires. There could be n number of desires.
So there means there means it's right, but the goal is not right.
Ah,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
यस्य यल्लक्षणं प्रोक्तम्
Yasya yalakshanam proktam
पुंसो वर्णाभिव्यञ्जकम्
so varnabhivyanjakam
यद् यदन्यत्रापि दृश्येत
yadanyatrapi drishyeta
तत्तेनैव विनिर्दिशेत्.
tatte naiva vinirdiše. If one shows the symptoms of being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, as described above, even if he has appeared in a different class, he should be accepted according to those symptoms of classification.
If anyone shows the symptoms of being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, as described above, even if he has born in a different class, he should be designated according to those symptoms. This is one of the verse all our devotees quote. So it is not by birth. Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. If the guna is there, karma is there, they should be called like that. This verse we quote elaborately so much. Further, they also quote this as a reference verse. However, if a man designated by a particular varna shows the qualities of another varna, he should be classified according to that other varna and should be called by that name, such as Brahmana. For example, if a person born in Kshatriya family but is displaying the symptoms of a Brahmana, whatever symptoms of Brahmana are there, they are displaying, then they should be called as a Brahmana. What is meant by showing qualities? So then we say that he is born in Kshatriya family but showing the qualities of Brahmana. What do you mean by that? Showing the qualities means showing general qualities like control of the sense and mind for the Brahmana, for instance, not particular actions like performing Sandhya rites. The Brahmanas perform Sandhya rites, Gayatri, morning, afternoon, evening. Of course, Kshatriyas also do. It is there. But in any case, for sense control, mind control is very much prominent in the Brahmanas. If that is done, we can say one person is like a Brahmana. This means he should be given the respect like a Brahmana. Not that this person fully designated as Brahmana. He will get a degree. Okay, now onwards you are a Brahmana, like that. Whatever respect a Brahmana gets, this person, though born in a Kshatriya family, but he is also behaving like a Brahmana, displaying the characteristics of a Brahmana. He should be given the same respect as that of a Brahmana. One should not say performing another's dharma is dangerous. So here one may say that, okay, so just some time back you said that Swadharma Nidhanam Shreya Paradharmo Bhayavaha. But here you are saying that if he is displaying the qualities of Brahmana, he can be called as Brahmana. But the actual understanding is that if he is displaying the qualities of Brahmana, he should be respected. He should be given the same respect that is given to a Brahmana. Treatment point of it is same. But designation, now let us see. One should not say performing another's dharma is dangerous, since attaining qualities like control of the senses and mind is not another's dharma. So these are only characteristics. A Kshatriya by nature, his duties are control and rule, that is there. But he may exhibit sense control, mind control. If being a Kshatriya, they might be given, they might be having some allowance, but instead of even allowance is there, but still he behaves like a Brahman, like Brahma Rishi. Complete sense control, complete mind control, not attachment to any other things, etc. etc. So he can be called as Brahma Rishi, Rajarshi. He is a Raja, but he has the qualities of a Rishi. He will be given the respect like a Rajarshi. But he is not called as a Brahmana because he is having the qualities like that of a Brahmana, like sense control, mind control. But that is not others' dharma. Others' dharma is yajan, yajan, patan, patan, dana, parigraha. Those things he may not be able to do. The principal duties he may not be doing. The qualities may display, but the principal duties one may not do. Unless until one does not do the principal duties, so the designation will not come. So that is understanding. Of course, here the explanation is not complete. Only one aspect of the explanation is given. But in any case, one thing is true. Even in the third canto, we have seen when Mother Devati offering praise to Lord Kapila, even one person is born in a Swapacho, dog eater's family, but if one becomes a devotee, he should be given all respect like that of a great Brahmana. That does not mean that he will be called as a Brahmana. He no need to be called as a Brahmana, but he will be given the respect more than that of a Brahmana because he has become a devotee. So, so that explanation is given there. Here also, if a Kshatriya displays the behavior like that of a Brahmana, he should be given the respect like that of a Brahmana. But he no need to be called as a Brahmana. That point one should be considering. So when you can call him as Brahmana, when he does A to Z all duties of a Brahmana like a Brahmana, then he can be called as Brahmana. That allowance also we saw in the previous verse. There is some exception. In general, 99% Swadharma, Nidhanam, Shreya, Paradharma, Bhayavaha. But 1% exception is there. If one can be able to do everything as it is like a Brahmana, then they should be called as Brahmana. There is no issue in that. It's like that. But for majority, this is the principle. They should be given the respect that is due to a higher Varna. If they depict the qualities of higher Varna. That is understanding. Okay, so this chapter is complete now with this verse. We will start with the next chapter.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji.
Prabhuji, one small thing, like here in the last verse, we describe the person who is not a Brahmana, means by birth is not Brahmana, but displaying the qualities of a Brahmana. Should be respected as a Brahmana, like that,
Yes.
na?
Yes.
But like Prabhuji means, Lord says that I have divided Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasham. So Lord has divided the society as per guna and karma, not as per.
So this
That
verse only talks about karma and guna, not karma. Yasya lakshanam prokta. Lakshanam means guna, qualities. This verse
uh,
did not include the karma.
okay, so one is displaying only gunas of Brahmana, but he is not doing the karma of Brahmana. That way.
Ah. Then he should be
That
given the respect like that of a Brahmana, but not
uh,
called as a Brahmana.
okay, so then he will not be able to. When suppose somebody by birth is not Brahmana, but by guna and karma both he is displaying the Brahmana activities, then
Yes.
he can be called as Brahmana.
Yes, he can be called. He comes in the category of 1% category.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Thank you.
And guna and karma completely. And he should not do again Kshatriya quality, Kshatriya activities. It is not that he is doing both Brahmana activities and Kshatriya activities. He should be
No, I
only
didn't get
doing
your last
Brahmana
point.
activities, not at all any Kshatriya activity.
Okay,
Like
means
that.
he is not doing any other activities, only the Brahmanic.
Then he should be called as Brahmana.
Okay. Okay, brother. Yeah.
So, like this, the first chapter, a brief overview of four Varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, male, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, female. And if there is intercaste marriage, they are called as Antaja and Antavashai. So, some things are mentioned. And the duties in general, duties in emergency. So, like this, they are a brief overview of the four Varnas is given. Now, in the next four chapters, there is a discussion about four ashramas. So, description of the ashramas. Chapter 12. So, I suppose in the chapter 12, the normal duties of the ashramas for a person in Varna and the rules for giving up the body for the Vanaprastha are described. I suppose this chapter talks mostly about Brahmachari and Vanaprastha. Sannyasi will be discussed in the next chapter, and Grahastha will be discussed in the next chapter, and next two after that, next two more chapters. So, like that. So, this chapter mainly talks about a Brahmachari and Vanaprastha, I suppose. So, you can see here the qualities and duties of a Brahmachari and the qualities of a Vanaprastha, action to be performed by an incapable Vanaprastha. So, Brahmachari and Vanaprastha are discussed in this chapter. Next chapter, first half talks about sannyasi, and second half talks about Grihastha, and then next chapter, next two chapters also talk about Grihastha. So, first Brahmachari. Sri Narada Uvacha
श्रीनारद उवाच
Brahmachari Gurukule
ब्रह्मचारी गुरुकुले
Vasandanto Gurorhitam
वसन्दान्तो गुरुर्हितम्
Acharandasavanicho
आचरन् दासवन्नीचो
Gurau Sauhruda Sauhrudaha.
गुरौ सुहृद सौहृदः. Narad Muni said, a student should practice completely controlling his senses. He should be submissive and should have an attitude of firm friendship for the spiritual master. With a great vow, the brahmachari should live at the Gurukula only for the benefit of the Guru.
So, we have four Varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, three of them are qualified to go to Gurukul and follow Brahmachari Vrata. So, when these three children from Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya Varnas, they go to Gurukula, what kind of lifestyle they should lead? And then, after completing Brahmachari life, some of and most of them will come home and become married, and some of them remain in the Gurukul. They are called as Nashtika Brahmacharis. They'll continue like that. And those who came home, they become Grihasthas, they lead Grihastha responsibilities for some time, and then they take to renunciation. So, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, all three become Grihasthas. Then, after completing their Grihastha duties, who can become Vanaprasthi? Kshatriya and Shudra only can, Kshatriya and Brahmana can only become Vanaprasthi. Even a Vaishya is not qualified to enter into Vanaprastha order. It is not that they are not qualified, it is don't show interest in that. So, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Shudra, three can go to Gurukul. After completing their education, they come back and get married, they become Grihasthas. After their Grihastha responsibilities are over, Brahmana and Kshatriya can take to Vanaprastha order in order to perfect their lives. And among these two, Brahmana, Kshatriya, after following the Vanaprastha order, it is only Brahmanas can become sannyasi. The Kshatriyas are not qualified to become sannyasi. They should give up their body being a Vanaprastha, Parpamutavasya and all. So thus they will attain perfection. And Brahmanas will attain perfection either by Vanaprastha order or by sannyasa order. And Shudras. So generally they don't prefer to go to Gurukul and study all these things and follow all the strict regime what we are going to discuss now in verses. And Vanaprastha and sannyasa austerities also they cannot do. That is not their cup of tea. So they are said to be grihasthas only. They stay at home and they are part of the home and etc. 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 So Gurukula Brahmachari means not staying in home. Even a student who is studying in home is not called Brahmachari. Brahmachari means one who stays in Guru's ashram, staying away from home. That is also one of the prerequisites for someone to be called as Brahmachari. So now Narada Muni says, Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanto Guru Arhitam. So one should be living in the Gurukul, controlling one's senses, controlling all one's frivolous behavior, etc. etc. Living in the Gurukula, acting only for the benefit of the Guru. Guru Hitam, perform all the activities only for the benefit of Guru, and should be submissive to the Guru like a servant. Acharan Dasavan Nicho, with firm faith and friendship towards Guru. Suhruda, Sahruda. Suhruda means one is a well wisher, like a friend, and Sahruda means, sorry, Sahruda is like complete faith and surrender towards Guru. Suhruda, Sahruda. It is not faint, it is faith. So one should be like a servant with firm faith and friendship toward the Guru. So like that. So this is the first attribute, first quality of a disciple. First of all, one should not stay home. One should go to forest and live in the Gurukul along with the Guru, control one's senses, and perform all the activities for the benefit of Guru, and should be submissive to Guru like a servant, and continue one's activities, complete faith upon Guru, complete surrender towards Guru, and friendship towards Guru. So, like that. So what do you mean by Acharan Dasavan Nito? Should be submissive to the Guru like a servant. What is the meaning of that? So next couple of verses elaborate on this particular principle. And Guru Sahruda Suruda, serving the Guru with firm faith and friendship towards him. So that is also further elaborated. All these points are elaborated in the upcoming verses. Sayam Pratar Upasita
Sayam Pratar Upasita
Guru Agni Arka Shurottaman
Guru Agni Arka Surottama
Sande Ube Yatavag
Sande Ubhe Cha Yatva
Japan Brahma Samahitaha.
Japan Brahma Samahita. Translation: at both junctions of day and night, namely in the early morning and in the evening, he should be fully absorbed in thoughts of the spiritual master, fire, the sun god, and Lord Vishnu, and by chanting the Gayatri mantra, he should worship them.
Every day, morning and in the evening, during the Sandhya times, being silent, chant the Gayatri mantra with complete attention, and the disciple should worship the Guru, fire, sun, and Vishnu. So every day, without fail, morning, afternoon, evening, chant Gayatri mantra and then worship one's own Guru, and fire, that means Yajna, and sun, Surya Narayana, are offering Argya, etc., and Lord Vishnu. So all these four should be worshipped regularly. So in that way. So these are the duties of a brahmachari. One should be doing all these things while staying in the Gurukul. Chandamsi adita guror
नन्दांसि अधीत्य गुरोर्
आहुतश्चेत् सुयन्त्रितः
आहुतश्चेत् सुयन्त्रिता
उपक्रमे वसाने च
उपक्रमे वसाने च
चरणौ शिरसा नमेत्.
चरणौ शिरसा नमेत्. Being called by the spiritual master, the student should study the Vedic mantras regularly. Every day before beginning his studies and at the end of his studies, the disciple should respectfully offer obeisances unto the spiritual master.
So before beginning the studies, offer full dandavat. After studies are over, again leaving the school, offer again full dandavat to the Guru. It's like that. Being called by the Guru, the student should carefully study the Vedic mantras, and at the beginning of his studies and at the end of his study, the disciple should respectfully offer obeisances to Guru's feet with his head, full dandavat. So like that. At least we say that when teacher comes, good morning sir, good morning teacher, like that we used to say in the school. So nowadays we don't know whether it's still being followed or not, but at least some way some respect is shown. But in the Gurukul, they should be offering full dandavat. At least in our Vaishnava circle, when class is there, when some senior devotee comes to take class, we immediately offer dandavat. It may not be full dandavat, half dandavat we do. So like that. Mekalajina Vashamchi
Mekhala Jinavasami
Jata Dhanda Kamandalum
Jata Danda Kamandalu
Vibhuyadupavitam cha
Vidya Upavitam Cha
Dharbapaneryatoditam.
Garbhapani Yathodhitam. Translation: carrying pure kusha grass in his hand, the brahmachari should dress regularly with a belt of straw and with deerskin garments. He should wear matted hair, carry a rod and water pot, and be decorated with a sacred thread, as recommended in the Shastras.
Hmm. So what is the attire, the dressing sense of a brahmachari is mentioned in this verse. With a kusha ring and matted locks, the brahmachari should dress with a belt of straw. The dressing is belt of straw, and there is matted hair. So mekalajina vashamchi, the clothing as belt of straws, and kusha ring. So for fingers we use golden ring. Instead of golden ring, they should wear kusha ring. And metal locks. The hair should be metal locks of hair. They cannot be like free flow, combing hair and oiling hair, not like that. Metal locks. So that there will be no attention towards hair. No time spent upon maintaining the hair and all. So that the complete attention is all about studies. No need to worry about taking care of the hairs. And dressing is only straw mats or deerskin garments. So should dress with a belt of straw. So there is a belt made up of straw, the darba grasses, and the deer skin, the clothing, the dhoti vagara is by deer skin, and sacred thread. There is a sacred thread worn, and carry a rod and water pot as recommend the scriptures. Danda and kamandalu should be carried by a brahmachari. So this is the attire of Brahmachari. And today we may not see such kind of Brahmachari anywhere, but at least in the movies, in the old movies, old age movies, we could have seen the Gurukul is there and one Rishi is there, and that Rishi will be having so many students, and all the students were wearing deer skin and holding a danda kamandalu, and their head is there is a jata, either jata is there or that jata is bound like a one bundle. So they put it like this. So in that way. So that is the typical attire of brahmachari, so which we may not see today, but in the previous old movies, so it will be there like that. Even the drama, sometimes they try to depict it like this. So it is like that. This is the way they should look. So this is the external behavior. The internal behavior is mentioned in the previous verses. Sayam pratashcharat bhaksham
सायं प्रातश्चरेत् भक्ष्यम्
gurave tannivedayet
गुरवे तन्निवेदयेत्
भुञ्जीत यदि अनुज्ञातो
भुञ्जीत यदि अनुज्ञातो
नो चेत् उपवसेत् क्वचित्.
नो सेत् उपवसेत् क्वचित्. The brahmachari should go out morning and evening to collect alms, and he should offer all that he collects to the spiritual master. He should not eat only if ordered to take food by the spiritual master. Otherwise, if the spiritual master does not give this order, he may sometimes have to fast.
The brahmachari should go out in the morning and evening to collect the alms and should offer all that he collects to the guru. He should eat only if ordered to take food by the guru. Otherwise, if the spiritual master does not give this order, the disciple should fast. So duties you should do without fail. But eating, if guru says eat, eat. If guru says no, no. So like that. Sushilo mita bhugdaksha
Sushilo mita bhukdaksha
श्रद्धधानो जितेन्द्रियः
Shraddadano jitendriya
यावदर्थं व्यवहरेत्
Yavadartam vyavahare
स्त्रीषु स्त्रीनिर्जितेषु च.
Trishu Stri Nirjiteshu cha. The brahmachari should be quite well behaved and gentle and should not eat or collect more than necessary. He must always be active and expert. Fully believing in the instructions of the spiritual master and the Shastra, fully controlling his senses, he should associate only as much as necessary with women or those controlled by women.
A brahmachari should be well behaved, Sushila, in control of his eating, mita book. ब्रह्मचारी नाम पे ज्यादा नहीं खाने का. Industrious, daksha, should be able to do all one's activities diligently. Faithful, shraddadana, in control of his senses, jitendriya, and should interact with women and men who are controlled by women only as much as necessary. Yavadartham vyavaharet strishu stri nirjiteshu cha. With women or those men who are controlled by women, one should spend time only as per the business, not more than that. At least a brahmachari should not spend more time with them. Like that is understanding. He may have to go to householder to beg or go to the guru's house, assuming the guru is married, to do service. That much he can interact with women. When one goes for begging, the mother is there. Bhavati Bhikshandehi, then the mother will come, the householder, the lady will come and offer Bhiksha. While offering Bhiksha, they may speak couple of words. That much one should speak, not more than that. Or one has to go to household services of Guru. So in that Guru's wife is there, the Guru is Gurustha. Then there the Guru's wife may say that okay, do this, do that, do it and come back. Something like that. So interaction is only as per seva requirement, not more than that. That is understanding for a brahmachari. Of course, in ISKCON scenario, we see brahmacharis are aged people and because of the requirements, the preaching movement, the preaching requirements are everywhere and they are interacting. But in traditional brahmachari system, before 25 years, so there because they are in the Gurukul and focusing on the studies, there that association to men is completely restricted. Even when they go for begging, they should only interact with those people as much as required until the begging is offered. So in that way. Varjayet pramadagitam sarvam pramadaгаతం
Varujyate pramadghatam
गृहस्थो बृहद्व्रतः
grahasto brihadvrata
इन्द्रियाणि प्रमाथीनि
indriyani pramathini
हरन्ति अपि यतेर्मनः.
haranti api yater manah. Translation: a brahmachari or one who has not accepted the grahastha ashram family life must rigidly avoid talking with women or about women, for the senses are so powerful that they may agitate even the mind of a sannyasi, a member of the renounced order of life.
So why so much strict rigidness? One may say that the answer is anyone who has not accepted the grahastha ashram. That means a brahmachari, vanaprastha or sannyasi. One who is not in grahastha order, other three ashramas, must avoid talking with women or talking about women. For because the senses are so powerful that they may agitate even the mind of a sannyasi or a brahmachari with a lifelong vow of celibacy. A Naistika brahmachari or a sannyasi, they should at least should not talk about women or talk with women so much beyond the service requirement because the senses are so volatile, they may get attracted. Other than householders, all should avoid talk with women. Vrata refers to a brahmachari who vows to remain that way for entire life. So in that way, either a Vrata or Yati, they should these two are away from women. So they should neither talk about women or talk with women excessively. Only for the purpose of begging they should talk. Vanaprastha may take wife with him, and Grahastha anyway wife is there. So both of them are allowed to speak to women. So in that way. Then further things related to brahmachari. Kesha prasada nonmarda
Kesha
Kesha
Prasad.
Prasadano. Continue. Kesha Prasado Marda.
स्नपनाद् स्नपनाभ्यञ्जनादिकम्
Napanabhyanjanadikam.
गुरुस्त्रीभिर्युवतिभिः
Guru Stri Yuvati Bihi.
कारयेन् नात्मनो युवा.
Karayennatmano Yuva. If the wife of the spiritual master is young, a young brahmachari should not allow her to take care of his hair, massage his like
If the wife of the guru is very young, a young brahmachari should not allow her to dress his hair, massage his body with oil, or bathe him with affection like a mother. If the wife of the guru sees the student as a son out of affection and wants to dress his hair means after bathing, drying it up and something like that, combing or something like that, or do other such services by her own will, it should not be allowed. That means if wife of guru is old, then it may be allowed because the children are very small. Because this is Gurukul system as per Gurukul system. But if the wife is young, then they should not be allowed. So in that way. Nanvagni Pramadhanama
Nanvagni Pramadhanama
Krita Kumbha Samappuman
Ghruta Kumbha Samapuman
Sutamapi Raho Jayad
Sutamapi Raho Jayad
Anyada Yavadartha Krut.
Anyada Yavadarthakru. Woman is compared to fire and man is compared to a butter pot. Therefore, a man should avoid associating with his own daughter in a secluded place. Similarly, he should also avoid association with other women. One should associate with women only for important business and not otherwise.
Woman is compared to fire and man is compared to butter pot. Therefore, a man should avoid associating even with his own daughter in a secluded place. One should associate with women only for important business, even if one is not alone. So, this is the restriction for especially Bruhadvrata and Yati. Those two should be careful. The reason for the rule is given in this verse. What is the reason? Raha means alone. Anneda means in other circumstances, even if not alone. Even if not alone, one should not associate with women. One, even if not alone in the midst of everyone, one should associate with women only when necessary to fulfill certain goals and only for that long, not continuously. So this is the rule given for Yati and Bruhadvrata and Brahmachari. All these three people should follow this rule. Can the jnani who has controlled the senses and is completely detached be harmed by association with women? So it is said in the previous verse that even with one's own daughter, one should not be in seclusion. So, but if somebody who is already jnani and perfected, can he associate with women? Like that, if the question is there, then what it says? Kalpayitvatmana yavad
कल्पयित्वा यावत्
आभासम् idamishvaraha
आभासं विधि इदमीश्वरः
दैवतं तावन्न विरमेत्
दैवतं तावनविरमे
ततो हि अस्य विपर्यया.
ततो हेयस्य विपर्यः. Translation. As long as a living entity is not completely self-realized, as long as he is not dependent on the misconception of identifying with his body, which is nothing but a reflection of the original body and the senses, he cannot be relieved of the conception of duality, which is epitomized by the duality between man and woman. Thus, there is every chance that he will fall down because his intelligence is bewildered.
So how long one should be following these rules and regulations strictly? Can a jnani can be beyond all these rules and regulations? Like that one may question. Then the answer is very intellectually the answer is given. Though one is capable of seeing the world as illusion, this is one of the important principle of jnani. Jnani sees this entire world is an illusion made up of maya. So, but theoretically one may see. But the problem is, as long as a person remains with his mind, he cannot give up thinking of differences between men and women. From that, he reverts to samsara. Even though one may see this world as illusion, but if one is considering this is woman, that is man, then there is a possibility of getting attracted to. So, in that way, the rule is very strict, and how long it is to be followed and all is also indirectly indicated. So, as long as one does not see the distinctions between men and women, one should be following this rule of staying away from women or associating with women only as much as the seva demands. So, like that. Even though one is capable of knowledge, sees the identity with the body as illusion in the manner of negating the reality of the world in seeing the truth, and considers everything as insignificant, as names only. But as names only by knowledge of the truth, as long as he remains with his mind, he cannot give up the duality. That means the thoughts of difference, such as I am a man and this is a woman, she is attractive to me. Then he reverts his previous state of samsara, viparyeha. So it is very difficult. So basically, the under thumb line is as long as one goes beyond the dualities, as long as one does not go beyond the dualities, one should follow all the rules and regulations that are prescribed in Shastra for one's own benefit. When one goes beyond the dualities, yeah, then one can say, okay, you're exception. You don't have to. So like that. So it is very, that means one need to do all these things for the entire life, because we are not sure whether we have reached that platform of no distinction. So till then, one need to practice all these things. That is the understanding. Or there is another meaning. What fear does a person who has conquered his senses and has given up relationship with wife, son, and friends have from those persons? That means a person who has already taken sannyas, so he has already given up. Then why he has to worry? Why he has to follow all the rules and regulations very strictly? आप यति यति बोल के sannyasi also should not speak to women more than required. Why that rule is required? He already given up. So you think you become attracted again once again? Like that one may question. The answer is having given up material things, as long as he conceives to some degree by his mind that, oh, this is my wife, this is my mother, this is my son, and becomes controlled by the happiness arising from such affection, to that degree he cannot give up difference. Even up to the point of one's own mother, wife, children, if there is any identity and connection, then there is no possibility of becoming freed from the dualities. So until then, one need to follow all these rules and regulations very strictly. Since it is such a small amount of misconception, why worry? So what is harm in that? So mother को mother बोलना उसमें क्या harm है? This still creates samsara. That consideration still creates samsara, thinking that okay, I used to be very happy with my mother, I used to be very happy in the association of wife, in the association of children. So one want to go back. One will give up some sannyas order and go back. That is not at all acceptable in that sense. Why? Because if one wants to follow the rules and regulations of that particular ashrama, such as brahmacharya or naistika brahmacharya or sannyasa, so that is the recommendation. They at least, because the ashram demands this such kind of rules, it is better that they should follow. That is for their well-being only. So in that way. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Prabhuji, in the first verse of this chapter, it was mentioned that the brahmachari should have a friendship relation with Guru. So, like, I didn't understand what it means.
Means
When
should be ready to do anything whatever Guru says. Friend means ready to do anything whatever say.
okay, like the how the friend behaves with the close friend, that way.
In that way.
Still maintaining the respect. Okay.
But doing everything lovingly, not grudgingly. That is understanding.
Okay, okay, thank you. And Prabhuji, one more thing you mentioned about means regarding this ashramas. Na? So I was just having one confusion that Brahmanas they are already are involved in Pathan Pathan Yajan, right? So then what is the need for them to accept Vanaprastha? Because whatever they are supposed to do in Vanaprastha, they are already doing now. So still the Brahmana Varna that also needs to go to Vanaprastha while.
See, now they are doing Patan Patan in a home. Now they should do Patan Patan in the forest. So basically, even one may be doing deity worship, yajna, patan, yajan, yajan, patan, patan, dana, parigraha in a home. There is a kind of possessiveness. There is a kind of attachment. So one should become detached from that. For the detachment, to gain the detachment, vanaprastha and sannyasa is recommended.
Okay. And also at home, it will be in the comfort zone of home. Some
Yes,
facilities
yes,
are definitely there.
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
एतत्सर्वं गृहस्थस्य
एतत् सर्वं गृहस्थस्य
समाम्नातं यतेरपि
समाम्नातं यतेरपि
गुरुवृत्तिर्विकल्पेन
गुरुवृत्तिर्विकल्पेन
गृहस्थस्य सस्यर्तुगामिनः.
गृहस्थस्यार्तुगामिना. All the rules and regulations apply equally to the householder and the sannyasi, the member of the renounced order of life. The grihastha, however, is given permission to by the spiritual master to indulge in sex during the period favorable for procreation.
All these rules described apply equally to the householders and sannyasis. Basically, whatever rules mentioned for brahmachari, they're all meant for gurastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi also. But the decision of the householder to maintain brahmachari vows is according to his decision. After getting into a Grihastha ashram, how much to follow, how much allowance is given, it is up to them. But the rules are common for everyone. Everyone can follow. No, this thing. The rules from verse 6 apply to all others as well. From text number 6 onwards, whatever is mentioned till now in the till 10th, they are applied to all other people also. But how much to follow, how much not to follow, it is up to them. The person decides if he should or should not have children. So it is up to them. Anjanabayanjanonmarda
Anjanan Bhayanjanurmarda
Sri Avalekamisam Madhu
Sri Avalekhamisham Madhu
Srugandhalepana Lepa Lepalankaram
Stragandhalepalankaram
Sajeyurye Bruhatvrata.
Tyajeye Tyajeye Bhadvrata. Brahmacharis or Grihasthas who have taken the vow of celibacy as described above should not indulge in the following: applying powder or ointment to the eyes, massaging the head with oil, massaging the body with hands, seeing a woman or painting a woman's picture, eating meat, drinking wine, decorating the body with flower garlands, smearing scented ointment on the body, or decorating the body with ornaments. These they should give up.
For a brahmachari, for a naistika brahmachari, and for a sannyasi. All these rules are specifically important for grihastha and vanaprastha. So they need to accept them conditionally. So in that way, those who take a lifetime brahmachari vow, bruhadvata means naistika brahmachari, should not indulge in the following. What are they? Oiling the body. Should not apply oil to the body. Oiling the head. Should not apply oil to the head. They generally have jata. The jata is matted hair. There you cannot apply the oil only. It becomes like a tree trunk. So in that way. And massaging the body massage also. Associating with men. Painting the pictures. Prabhupada writes as painting the picture of human. Eating meat, of course. If one is practicing sadhana, bhakti, and all meditating, this particular sadhana of brahmacharya, vanaprastha, and sannyasi, no meat eating. Drinking wine, decorating the body with flower garlands, always after decorating oneself. Smearing sandalwood on the body, or decorating the body with ornaments. These should be given up. So, all these things can be allowed for a grahastha. But for others, none of these things are allowed. For a normal brahmachari, naishika brahmachari, sannyasi or vanaprastha, they should not apply oil, they should not massage the body and associate with women and paint pictures, eat meat, drink wine, decorate the body with flower garlands and other jewelry, etc. Not allowed. Anjana means applying oil on the body, and abhyangana is applying oil on the head. All over the body, if you apply oil, that is called Anjana. On the head, if you apply the oil, that is called Abhyangana. Associating with women and painting are separate items. These items are, by their nature, forbidden. Even in emergencies, there should not be done. This is the difference with the injunction in verse 8. Even in emergency, also, one should not go overboard associating with women. Associate only as much as required. So, these are some of the hard rules that are mentioned for brahmachari, naishtika brahmachari, vanaprastha and sannyas. All those things, these are applicable for all those people. Once some allowance is given to grahastha. उषित्वैवं गुरुकुले
उषित्वैवं गुरुकुले
द्विजोदित्यावबुध्य च
द्विजोदित्यावबुध्य च
त्रयीं साङ्गोपनिषदम्
त्रयीं साङ्गोपनिषदम्
यावद् अर्थं यथा बलम्
यावद् अर्थं यथा बलम्
धत्वा वरम् अनुज्ञातो
दत्त्वा वरम् अनुज्ञातो
गुरो कामं यदीश्वरः
गुरो कामं यदीश्वर
गृहं वनं वा प्राविशेत्
गृहं वनं वा प्रविशेत्
प्रव्रजेत् तत्र वा वसेत्
प्रव्रजेत् तत्र वा वसेत्. According to the rules and regulations mentioned above, one who is twice born, namely a Brahmana, Kshatriya or Vaishya, should reside in the Gurukula under the care of the spiritual master. There he should study and learn all the Vedic literatures along with their supplements and the Upanishads, according to his ability and power to study. If possible, the student or disciple should reward the spiritual master with the remuneration the spiritual master requests. And then, following the master's order, the disciple should leave and accept one of the other ashramas, namely the Grihasthashrama, Vanaprastha or Sannyasashrama, as he desires.
So, from the beginning, this chapter talking about so many rules and regulations that should be followed for a brahmachari. So, how long they should follow all these rules and regulations, then what they should do afterwards is kind of indicated in these two verses. According to the rules and regulations mentioned above, one who is twice born, namely a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Twice born means not just born in a Brahmana family, Kshatriya family, Vaishya family. Twice born is the one for whom, starting from Garbhadana until Upanayana, all the samskaras are done with mantra recitation properly. They are called twice born. Should reside in the Gurukula and study and learn all the Vedic literatures along with their supplements and the Upanishads according to one's ability and power to study. We have three category of people: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. So three people, three students will have three different capacities. Brahmana student might want to go into deeper into the Vedas. Kshatriya student may not want to go to deeper into the Veda, but just want to know the overview of the Vedas. Vaishya also may just want to know summary of the Vedas. So according to their capacity, according to their desire, so knowledge will be awarded. According to his means, the student should reward the guru with what he desires. After education is over, after Snatakosa is done, then the disciple should offer Guru Dakshina. That is that too as per the requirement of Guru. Whatever Guru says one should do. So in that way. And then taking permission from the Guru, the disciple should leave the ashram and accept one of the other ashramas, namely Grihastha ashram. So after education is over, with the Guru permission, one should leave this Gurukul ashram. Either one may go home and get married, or directly enter into Naistika Brahmacharya, or enter into Vanaprastha ashram, matlab stay, continue to stay in the Gurukul in the same ashram, or sannyasa. So like that. So after Brahmacharya is over, in some of the things directly one can take, one can gradually one can take. Either one can directly become Naistika Brahmachari or Vanaprastha or sannyasi, or one first becomes Grihastha and then eventually later on becomes Vanaprastha, sannyasi, etc. etc. So they are all. This is like how long they should stay in Gurukul till education is complete. Till then, those rules are applicable. So in that way. As far as possible, he should give a gift to the Guru as desired by the Guru and enter household life. Or he can study there as a Naistika Brahmachari. So either with the blessings of Guru, come home and get married, or remain in the Gurukul and continue to study further and further like a Naistika Brahmachari. So like that. So how long they should do, that is indicated here. Agnau Gurau Atmani cha
Agnau Gurav Atmani cha
Sarvabhuteshu Adokshajam
Adokshajam
Bhutai Swadhamabi Pashet
Bhutai Swadhama Vihi Pashet
Apravishtam Pravishtavat.
Apravishtam Pravishtavat.
One should
One
see
should
the Supreme
realize.
Lord. I will read Mataji. One should see the Supreme Lord along with Jivas under his shelter in the fire, in the Guru, in oneself, and in all living entities. So basically, one should see Lord Vishnu and all the Vaikuntha Vasis in whatever one does in the Gurukul time. So every day they would do fire sacrifice. So they should see Supreme Lord and all the Vaikuntha Vasis in the fire sacrifice. And every day one respects the Guru and hears from Guru, then they should see Lord Vishnu and all the Vaikuntha Vasis in Guru. And also one will be interacting with the forest dwellers, all the animals, plants, etc. There also one should be able to see Lord Vishnu and Lord all the Vaikuntha Vasis. The Lord enters as the controller, though he also remains outside. As Paramatma, Lord is the controller of each and every living entity. Anyway, he is already there, even though one should see. Just like Hridesh Arjuna Tishtati. Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantrarudani Maya. Sarvasa Chaham Risan Vishto Mata Smriti Jnana Punch. Everyone's heart, the Supreme Lord is there. That is anyone know, everyone knows. But in spite of that, so when one performing yajna, one should see Lord Vishnu and Lord Vishnu's Vaikuntha Vasis. When one sees Guru, one should see Lord Vishnu and Lord Vishnu's associates in Guru. And even in all the living entities one interacts. One should see the Lord along with Jivas who have taken shelter of the Supreme Lord in the fire, in the Guru, etc. The Lord enters as the controller as Paramatma in each and every thing. So the last verse for today's discussion. This is the 16th verse. With this, the theme is over. Evam vido brahmachari.
Evam vido Continue, Prabhu.
Vanaprasto yatirgruhi.
मानप्रस्थो यतिर्गृही
Charan vidita vijnana.
चरन् विदिता विज्ञाना
Param brahmadi gacchati.
परं ब्रह्मादिगच्छति.
By practicing in this way, whether one is in the brahmachari ashram, grihastha ashram, vanaprastha ashram, or sannyasa ashram, attaining realization, attain the supreme Brahman. If one follows all the rules and regulations that are mentioned for brahmachari, naistika brahmachari, vanaprastha or sannyasi, even if a grihastha also follows all these rules that are meant for brahmachari, vanaprastha or sannyasi, and etc., they all attain the realization of the Supreme Lord, and then Param Brahma Adigachati, they attain the abode of Param Brahma. So that is the rule. So basically, though the rules are specifically indicated for brahmachari, but even others who follow this with the purpose of going back to Godhead, they will go back to Godhead. That is the Param Brahma Adigachati. Charan Vidita Vijnana, they eventually attain the realization and then they will attain Parabrahma. So these are some rules and regulations that are meant for Brahmachari. And next remaining chapter will talk about Vanaprastha. The next chapter will talk about, first half talks about Sannyasi, then second half talks about Guruhastha. So that we will discuss in the next class. Okay, it's already about time, okay? 8:30, okay? So we'll stop here. I hope no questions now. Any questions anybody has?
No, Prabhuji.
No problem.
No,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Okay. No problem. So thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
We'll stop here. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, bro.
Hare Krishna.
So we'll